What's up, everybody? So, I wanted to make a quick video about, or a quick video reading some comments, especially about the last video that I put up. Because I wanted to get your guys' take on the situation a little bit. But before I do, and I'll try to make this brief. This wouldn't be one of my typical videos, I feel, if I didn't go off on somewhat of a tangent. But like I said, I'll try to keep it brief. It's about this whole gun control debate issue that's going on again, where everything that's already been said before is being said again on both sides and shit. Look, that's all I'm gonna say. I've heard the president and I've heard some other people talk about they want to raise the legal age to buy a gun. And at first I was like, well, they want to raise the age to buy a gun to 21. That's pistol or rifle. And I was thinking, well, I'm 28 now. I mean, it's not like it's going to affect me, and all that good stuff. And I was thinking about it today. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I'm for it or against it. Then I really got down to thinking about it. I thought about back when I was 19 years old when I bought my first gun. And come to think about it, this whole, raising the legal age, raising the age limit to buy a gun is asinine. It's stupid. And the reason why is because when I was 19 years old, I moved out of my mom's house and I got my first apartment, right? Decided to strike out and, try to make it on my own. Well, at the time I was only making $11 an hour. So the only place that I could afford was in a real shitty area where rent was cheap, right? And so, I had me a decent apartment. The inside was real nice, kept it real clean and stuff. But outside, the complex was a shithole. And the area was a shithole, but it's all I could afford. Well, I've talked a little bit about this in the past, but, I lived around a bunch of crackheads and fucked up people. I had my car broken into. I had people try to steal shit off my porch, like my porch furniture and shit like that. That's how it was. So I decided to go out and buy my first gun, so I bought Remington 870 shotgun, a pump action, and I kept it loaded under my bed with double-aught buckshot, just in case someone decided to kick down my fucking door in the middle of the night, because it's not hard to get into an apartment. Apartments are easy as shit to get into. If you got a decent kick, you can kick the door through. You can get in easy. So I just didn't, in case that happened, but my whole point is, I think guns are not cigarettes. They're not alcohol. They're not rental cars. They're not any of that shit. All right? Just because one guy or a couple of guys who happen to be between the age of 18 and 21 kill some people, so what, you're going to fuck over every other kid out there who moves into a shitty area and wants to protect himself? Fuck that guy. Fuck me back when I was 19. I didn't deserve the right to protect myself because some other shithead did something. It's fucked up. It's fucking stupid, And furthermore, you know what? You want to ban bump stocks? All this shit they're saying, this is all appeasement. None of it's going to be effective. None of it's going to do anything. It's not going to have the desired effect. They're just trying to appease people because people keep crying and saying, we want something done. We want something done. So but really what they mean is give us gun control legislation like we've been asking for. We're going to keep bringing it up every time there's a shooting. You know what? At this point where I'm at, ban AR-15s, ban bump stocks. Hell, repeal the Second Amendment for all I give a fuck. Just fuck it, right? Turn all of us regular, hardworking gun owners, turn us all into criminals. But mark my words, if they decide to ban bump stocks, outlaw the AR-15, outlaw semi-autos, repeal the Second Amendment, whatever the fuck they end up doing, it's not going to make a fucking difference. You want to raise the legal age limit to buy a firearm, but not to get a driver's license, when teenage drivers are, statistically, this is like, everyone knows this, the most dangerous drivers on the fucking road, and cause thousands of deaths a year and millions in property damage. But, you know, you can be 16 and get a license and drive a car. You got to be 18 to buy a gun. And I guarantee you, teenage drivers kill way more people than AR-15s do on a yearly basis, or bump stocks, especially bump stocks. But anyways, it's just bullshit. I'm just so tired of hearing it. At this point, I'm with shit like this, I'm just like, fuck it, go ahead and do it and see what happens. You know, strip us of our fucking rights. It's not gonna make a fucking difference. They can outlaw bump stocks and AR-15s tomorrow. Guess what? Within the next couple of years, there'll be another school shooting. It's just the modern world we live in. But enough about all that. I just wanted to put that out there. But I'm gonna go through and read some of these comments. Some of them are good, some of them I like, and some of them I reply to, but some I want to read. First up, thank you to anyone who decided to take a minute to post a productive comment. And you know, of course, there's some trolls in there. You know, to anybody who put a shitty comment, you can go fuck yourself. But haters gonna hate. That's all right. That's what happens when you put yourself out on the internet. People are gonna be stupid, talk their shit. Let's see here. See, Quentin says, "Stay where you're at, man." And I guess this is on the video I just put out. This video is trying to figure out which path I should take. This guy said, "Stay where you're at. You got a good 10 to 15 years, lots of time to plan an escape." Yeah, but see, my point is, you know, in 15 years, I'm gonna be 43 years old. I'm gonna be 43. You know, I mean, yeah, I think I see your point. You know, my whole thing I'm trying to figure out is if I want to decide, if I want to commit to buying a truck and going down that path, you know, and commit to staying out on the road. I don't know. You know, even if I do that and, you know, buy a truck and become an owner operator, I gotta fix that Zoom, dudes. I'm sorry, I gotta figure it out. It's stupid, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll take like 6 months to a year off doing over the road, you know, and do some things I want to do. I've been wanting to do some shit I've been missing, and, you know, maybe try to get back in a little bit better shape. And then maybe go back on the road. You know, if I save up 30 grand to do it, then, you know, I can always go out and buy a truck and go back over the road. But I don't know, we'll see. Hostile Resistance says, he says loves the videos. Hey, I appreciate it. But he says, if you want a career, go over to Cisco Houston. You'll make 80 grand, excellent benefits, and you'll lose a bunch of weight. Which, you know, I could probably lose 20 pounds, but I don't know, man. Like, I know he's talking about Cisco. These guys run day cabs with like little pup trailers, little 26 and 40 footers and stuff, reefer trailers, and they deliver food products to restaurants and stuff all day. I don't know. I've heard from food delivery drivers, local food delivery drivers, like route guys, that have said they love it. You know, they say they make great money and they stay in great shape and shit like that. I don't know. You know, what I end up doing locally depends on a couple different factors. Part of it depends on where the fuck I end up living, because Houston is not a town where you want to commute from one side to the other every day. That is not worth it, in my opinion. Unless you're making really good fucking money, you will spend so much time. If you live on the west side and work on the east side, or whatever, work in the Woodlands, but you live in Katy or what the fuck ever, like, commuting from one side of Houston to the other side of Houston every fucking day, you spend hours in the car. And I used to do that shit all the time. And it's like, so wherever I end up working, where I end up living is going to have a lot to do with that. Because I'm not going to want to commute, you know, 40 hours a fucking week. So, I don't know, we'll see. I don't know, that's gonna be part of it. But, and also, I don't, you call me what you want, but I don't like showing up to work at 6 in the fucking morning, because then you got to get up at like 4 or 5, and you got to go to bed at like 7 at night. I'm not really about all that. I like to work 7 to 3:30, 7 to 4, 7 to 5. I like showing up to work at 7 o'clock, or even 8. I had a job when I was a service tech. I used to like work like 8 to 4:30 every day, you know, and that was fine. I just don't like showing up 6 in the morning when the sun hadn't even come up yet. It's just, I don't like all that. So I may not do something where you gotta show up early, stupid fucking early. Let's see. This guy Levi, you know, I went back and forth with him a little bit. Some other people commented on his comment where the dude was basically, he was just saying, if you're not leasing to actually own the truck, you're just dumping money into something you'll never own, pretty much just throwing money away. Why waste your money if you're not going to own the truck? Just go company. To which I replied, because I make a lot more money than company drivers do. As company driver, clocking 3,000 miles plus a week, you know, I was usually banking out about $900 average after taxes. So sometimes, you know, sometimes I'd have $1,000 or $1,100 week. Every once in a while, a $700 or $800 week. But usually it always averaged out, or usually came out to about $900. You know, I rarely make less than $1,200. $1,200 is a terrible fucking week, and I rarely do that bad. You know, my average settlement's like $2,400. Right now, the last couple weeks, been $2,400 a week. You know, so you know, of course that's before taxes, but still, I'm making like double what a company driver would make. Yeah, see, you could say there's this weird fucking misconception of guys that say this about leasing, and what it says to me is you've never been leased before, and you don't really understand. And it's usually company guys, and you know, I'm not gonna say I could fault company guys for looking at lease that way, because this is what owner operators and guys have been around. It's what they're feeding these guys. Oh, it's just a waste of money. You're just dumping your money into blah blah blah. You're never gonna own it and shit. It's basically what I told this guy was like, look, man, like a lease truck is not a ball and chain. It's a revenue tool. It's a tool. The truck is a tool. I can't make money off of running freight unless I have a vehicle to run that freight. You see what I'm saying? The object of the lease that I'm in is not to own a truck. I feel like that's a huge misconception, because company drivers hear lease purchase, and all these companies, they try to sell the purchase side of it, like, oh, do you want to own your own truck? Well, you could do it through us and shit. This is a terrible way to buy a truck, but it's a good way to make more money and kind of learn the independent contractor side of things. You can kind of dip your feet in the water of what it's going to be like to be an owner-operator, but you've got the safety net of a mega carrier should anything go wrong. You know, people need to understand that. I make good money running this truck, regardless if I'm ever going to own this truck. You know, that's irrelevant to me. You know, if I want to own a truck, I will go buy a different truck. You want to know the difference between me and an owner-operator? Is, from what I've heard, maybe about $1,000. I pay about $1,000 more a month towards the truck note, because most owner-operators don't drive 2017s. Some do, most don't. Most drive older used trucks with a lot lower payments, but their maintenance costs are higher than mine. My maintenance costs are relatively low. You know, it kind of sort of balances out. You know, now it depends on a bunch of different factors, but anyways, you know, if you get into a percentage contract and you haul flatbed freight, which pays pretty good, has good rates, you get into a company like this that doesn't run cheap shitty freight, that has a lot of good contracts, they keep you busy, you know, and these trucks really aren't all that expensive, you know, compared to spec'd out trucks that other companies run. So I do okay. Pay $2,400 a month for the truck. That's a lot better than paying $4,000 plus for the truck, like per month like guys do at other companies and other leases. So I do all right. But anyways, let's see what else is on here. See, this guy, Big Mike, says I work in the oil and gas industry in West Texas. It's provided a great life for me and my family. I don't drive a truck, but I have friends who do. One of my buddies, he hauls oil for a living. He's home every night, normal days off. His bonus, he grossed over $120,000 last year. No lease purchase, nothing. He's a company driver. Now, I hear stories like this, like, you know, hey, I have this anecdote. Look how great this is here. Right? I hear it all the time. I hear it from local drivers, day cabbers, like, man, I fucking make this much a week, and I'm home every night, and, you know, I got a hot boss, and she sucks my cock every day when I show up to work. It's like, it's great, man. Great. I'm glad you're happy with what you're doing. Where do you live? Central California? Oh, it's expensive as fuck to live where you live, so that's why you make a shit ton more. You have to. Because it's expensive as balls to live there. You know, your rent is probably, your cost of living is like, what, third highest in the nation. So yeah, I would expect you to make more money than a guy in Texas doing the same gig. But, you know, 120 grand a year, company driver working in West Texas in the oil and gas industry. Keywords, oil and gas industry, West Texas. I don't live in West Texas, and I don't really care to. And I don't really care to work in the oil and gas industry. And I learned that years ago, when I was trying to find work, after I couldn't find work in 2008, when like no one was hiring, I was actually considering going out to like Midland, Odessa, and trying to get work as a roughneck or something like that. I couldn't even figure that out because I couldn't figure out the living situation and all that stuff. You know, I mean, I was like 18 at the time, 18, 19. But my point is, like, I've learned, you know, my stepdad has worked in the oil industry his entire life, still does. And my stepbrother works in the oil and gas industry. And if I can, I will avoid working in oil and gas as long as I can. You know, if I have my druthers, I'll never work in it. The reason why is because it's feast or famine. It's like a gold rush. You know, I've known, you know, I live in Texas. I've known plenty of guys that have worked in oil and gas, and I've known enough to know that they could, 1 month, they're making $5 grand a week, and they're fucking spending all kinds of money. They're balling, they're buying watches and TVs and all kinds of shit. And then 2 months later, they're fucking broke working at AutoZone because something happened in the oil market and fucking everybody got laid off. You know, and then because they work in a specific industry, which is oil and gas, they can't take that fucking expertise anywhere but in the oil and gas industry. So if they all get laid off and no one's hiring, they're working a fucking AutoZone selling car batteries. You know, and I'm just saying, it's feast or famine with the oil industry. Yeah, you make stupid money. Yeah, I don't really care to live out in West Texas. There's nothing out there but pump jacks and sand. You know, no offense to anybody who lives out there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've done some work in Midland, Odessa when I was an electrician. And for some reason, that town has, like, some of the hottest females I've ever seen in my life. I don't understand it. I think it's because there's so much oil money there. Sorry, ladies. But other than that, other than there being lots of hot females in that town, there's nothing else out there. Ford dealerships and pump jacks and refineries, you know? I don't really care for that shit. So I'm not really interested in oil and gas. I know there's money in it, but I'm not looking for... No. I'd rather be in something I can rely on a lot more, you know? But I appreciate the comment nonetheless. I had a couple guys telling me to go into car hauling, which, if you guys remember from earlier videos from a long time ago, my first trainee, Matt, that's actually what I talk to him every once in a while. But that's what he does. He car hauls now, and since the last time I talked to him, he was still doing it, really likes it, hauls exotic cars, and had a really good gig for a small carrier. I don't know, man. You know what? I like flatbed. You know, I don't want to haul cars. I want to haul oversized. I'd like to do heavy haul at some point. And if I end up going owner-operator, that's what I'm going to that's the direction I'm gonna go in. I want to haul RGNs, you know, maybe like 3-axle RGNs, and haul oversized. Maybe like haul those goddamn windmill fan blades. They come through the port of Houston, you know, and those motors and stuff, like heavy haul shit. That's what I'd like to do if I stay over the road. That's the direction I want to go in, as I want to move up to doing heavy haul and a lot of oversized and stuff like that, and rocking an RGN, you know, multiple axle tractor, maybe multiple 3-axle, 4-axle, multiple axle RGNs and shit. That's what I want to do, you know. And, you know, I've even thought about, like, maybe when I'm done with the lease here, dropping back to going company and getting on the heavy haul division here. But honestly, our heavy haul guys run a lot of general commodity flatbed shit, because heavy haul is not super busy. You know, it's because if you're gonna run heavy haul at RGN, unless you've got contracts where that's all they ship, like you got a contract with a place that ships windmill fan blades constantly, like you have to go on the spot market on the load boards to find that shit. Because other than that, like you know, you're not gonna get that constant John Deere, you know, case equipment, whatever the fuck. It's too slow. Farm equipment's too fucking slow. So if you're relying too much on contract farm equipment shit, you're gonna be hauling flatbed freight. So you gotta I want to haul RGN and pull shit off the load board. You can make good money doing that. But that's what I like to do. That's if I stay over the road, you know. Let's see. And this guy's talking shit. Like, I don't know why this guy's talking shit. I don't know. I'm probably wasting my time trying to understand the mind of a troll. But that's how I am. I'm analytical. I'm just thinking, like, you know, is there something I said in this video? Is it that made this guy, is the way I talk, some of my mannerisms that make, you know, somebody want to call me a fat motherfucker? Damn, man, you fat as a motherfucker, blah, 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 and shit. It's like, yeah, I'm a trucker. Like, all I do is, you know, get money. I don't have time to do shit else. I don't have time to work out. All I do is make money, man. That's all I got time for out here, is making money. You know, if I'm going to be on the road, I'm going to spend every second that the federal government will allow me to working towards making more money. You know? But I get it. You're just trying to be a fucking asshole. But you sound feminine commenting on another guy's weight, but whatever. Anyways, let's see here. IBD man's talking about, what, buying a couple trucks and then becoming a DM. I don't want to be a fleet manager. Don't want to do it. You know, by the time I'm done being over the road, I could go get a job as a fleet manager. You know, 3 years OTR, flatbed. I could find a company that would hire me as a fleet manager. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to sit behind a desk if I can avoid it. I'll probably change my mind on that in like 20 years. I get in my 40s, I probably won't mind sitting behind a desk and air conditioning all day. But right now, I mean, in the foreseeable future, don't want to do that. You know, and I have thought about maybe going the small fleet route, but I don't know, man. I don't know if this is the kind of industry where you really want to put that kind of commitment, investment in your life to do. Just with the way technology's going, you know, in the direction with this autonomous trucks and all that stuff. I don't know. That's the direction I want to go in. We'll see in the future, though. But right now, I don't know. Let's see. Thomas says, I don't think the trucking industry will ever go 100% autonomous. That's what I thought, too. Because he says there's too many open-ended questions. That's what I was saying in my other videos about autonomous trucks. But that was until I heard that they're investing billions of dollars into it. You know, and now it's getting to the point where, like, look, if you want to put a man on the moon, you can. It just takes billions of dollars in investment and research. And if they want to get a truck to drive itself, if they're putting billions of dollars into it, will it ever happen? I don't know. Can it happen? Absolutely. I think it can. You know, I think it can. And you know what? My sentiment was, you know, as soon as these trucks fuck up and these automated trucks fuck up and kill a few people, then everybody will be calling to put a stop to it. But really what will happen is autonomous trucks will kill less people than human drivers will, because that happens. So I don't know. Let's see, blah 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 blah. Some people talking about automated trucks. Here's one that I read just a little while ago. This is on one of my video where I was talking about the old school versus the new school. And this is a guy who apparently, let's see, rookie driver, you'll never know what us old truckers went through because you were still, you know, swimming in your old man's balls, blah blah blah. I was fucking driving a truck before you were born, blah blah blah, and all this shit. I put 38 years of driving trucks, not like the piece of shit you drive, a real truck made of metal and steel. Go put a couple million miles on a cab over truck, spring ride, no power steering, no AC, no radio, cold in the winter, where sometimes I had to wear a snowmobile suit so you didn't freeze to death, sleeping over the steering wheel because you were too tired to crawl in the sleeper because you were tired and blah blah blah. Go play with your video maker. You're gonna criticize older truckers and blah. And they're, you know, somebody's gonna beat the shit out of you one day, blah blah blah, and all this shit. Look, man, fucking, I'll just say it. We get it. Things used to suck. Here's the thing. Everything, just about everything, used to suck more than it does now. There's a very small list of exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, yeah, most things were shittier before than they are now. My whole thing is, like, when dudes are saying this, when you hear the whole, come on camera, when you hear the whole, like, back in my day things were so much rougher, when you hear that, it's like, you sound like you miss the days where shit sucked. You know, do you miss that? Like, I don't, like, well, yeah, I didn't have any AC and I was freezing stuff, like, yeah, but that's not like that anymore, though. I mean, you know, every time someone does this, I think, you know what, if you want to go down this road, we can go even further than that and say, when you were still a couple of sperms swimming around your dad's fucking balls, there were no sleepers on the backs of trucks. Guys were riding on wooden benches, and they were sleeping on, some guys would like sleep in the trailer and shit like that. You know, you want to go even further back, yeah, things were rougher before you came around too. Right? I'm just saying, you know what, at the end of the day, the guy who said that, hey, that's awesome, man. I'm sure you got some great stories to tell. But look, I don't know if you're still driving, but whether or not you are, I bet if you're still driving or if you've already retired, the last truck you drove had AC, had a radio, probably had air ride suspension, ABS. It was probably a modern truck, wasn't it? Because those trucks back in the day fucking sucked, you know. So this whole, like, well, you would have never made it. You would have never made it in my day because things were this much harder. How the fuck do you know? I wasn't born in your fucking day, was I? I wasn't around. You know? Yeah, I mean, I guess if I crawled into a time machine right now, it'd be kind of a culture shock. But if I was born in 1947 or whenever the hell you were born, and we grew up being the same age, I'd probably adapt to it just the way you did, wouldn't I? So I just don't understand that whole line of thinking. Things were so much harder. Yeah, you could say that about anything. You know, people were dying from the cold back in the the common cold was killing people back in the 1800s. I'd say things were tougher back then too. You know, I'd say things were pretty tough back in the days when the Black Death was killing people. You know, yeah, things get better with time. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. But anyways, this person says join the military. I don't know. It's too late for that. No, I ain't doing that now. Hey, my hat's off, and I got friends that were in the Army. You know, and I thought about it, but it's too late now. Too late for me now. That's the way I see it. It's a young man's game, and I just, yeah, it's that's something you do when you're in your late teens, early 20s, before you've established yourself, before you have things going on and responsibilities, things to take care of, whatever. But, and I don't have a lot of responsibilities, but, and I don't know why this person said this anyway. But let's see here. This guy's, I was talking about my video where my truck broke down. I was talking about how I didn't want an automated transmission because they're pneumatically actuated with air. They're the gear, everything's driven with and actuated with air. And I think a couple people said this, but they said, oh, 10 speeds are still air driven when going from high to the range selector is still air driven. It's a completely different thing. It's completely different. Having the range selector being pneumatic is completely different from, and if you don't know this, automated truck transmissions have dedicated air tanks. They use so much air. They have their own air tank because they chew up so much fucking air. But I tell you one thing, when my truck wouldn't start, I was able to start it by getting pull started because it's standard. You can't do that with automatics. And if you're going to tow them, you got to pull the drive shafts on them. So, let's see here. Just about out of time anyway. You know what? This is the last thing I'll address instead of reading a specific comment. But look, a lot of people comment on this video where I said don't shit in your truck, where I was talking about those folks, that couple that have this little clever system organized so they could take dumps in their sleeper and stuff like that. People get so up in arms over that video, and it's like, and I've had a slew of comments be like, what about irritable bowel syndrome and blah 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 and stuff. It's like, you got IBS, why the fuck would you drive a truck? There's times where you're like 100 miles from the nearest shitter. If I had IBS and I had diarrhea all the time, you wouldn't catch me doing this job. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is I remember some guy said something like, oh, so you expect us to believe that if you got to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, you actually put all your clothes on and get all your warm clothes and go to the truck stop? And I'm like, yeah, I don't like screw walking 200 feet. I'm gonna take a shit right in my truck. And I don't wake up in the middle of the night and need to take dumps. I don't know if maybe that happens when you get older, but that doesn't happen to me. But I'm out of time. That's it for now. I'll talk to you guys soon.